So let's get to the missing black boys incident. It's been the talk that's been happening in Toronto for more than a year. Salute to Brandon Gonez. He's one of the first people who I seen do a special on this on his channel. Speaking about the missing black boys, there was about 15 missing at the time. There's been multiple conversations happening around this. There's been doubt, even on this podcast or on this network, there has been doubt about how many of those missing boys were actually missing, right? One of the boys were actually found in a few months ago. He wasn't even missing. He wasn't even found because he was one of the youths. He was the youth that stabbed the old lady, the 72-year-old old lady. He was actually one of the people that were on the missing list. And he ended up not being missing. He was just a wayward youth on the run, or not even on the run, just doing his thing outside on road. Okay. So I think after so much talk on social media and on the more underground platforms like ourselves, the black platforms, CBC said, you know what? We might need to look into this. I'll also give you guys a quick note. I did an interview with a gentleman from CBC. Let me see if I can give his name a big up. He might not want a big up, but I'm gonna big him up anyway. But a gentleman from A.W.O.L from CBC. I did an interview with him that's gonna be coming out surrounding this whole topic as well. So look out for that coming soon. But let's get to this video here.
In Canada's biggest city and in suburbs around Toronto, black boys are going missing.
They are 13, 14, 15, going on 16. They are children.
When a mother breaks down on the phone with you and cries because her son is missing, it's not easy. It's not easy.
We investigate how young boys are exploited by street gangs, luring them into a world that can turn deadly.
When it comes to being in the streets, it's a losing game. Nobody's ever won. It's either death or in jail.
And we hear from a Toronto rapper now in prison about his involvement in gang life and his influence on black youth. Don't you think you have also contributed to that glamorizing of the gangster life?
1000%. I know this is a life that could ruin their lives.
And it's not,
Salute to Bizz Loc.
not just in Toronto. We're in Thunder Bay, Ontario, some 1,400 kilometers from Toronto. So why are so many teenage boys from the big city, some as young as 14, ending up here selling drugs for organized crime?
But I don't think they really know what they're getting into when they come up here.
There's availability for you to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in this industry.
Salute to Jordana.
And we follow some parents race against time to find their lost boys.
Like when my son's missing, I'm just looking for my son. I just want my son back, and I'm not leaving it till I get him back.
Did you think your son was in danger?
Oh, while he was missing, 100%.
I'm Mark Kelly. This is The Fifth Estate.
Let's go.
There's a growing fear across Ontario as black boys are disappearing from their homes. Like all teens, they're seeking status, belonging. However, black boys face greater obstacles. They're more likely to be suspended from school, stopped and searched by police, and face greater challenges getting a job.
Facts.
Which can lead some to making a choice that could change their lives forever.
We have a serious problem in Ontario. There has been a very disturbing amount of young black males that have gone missing.
December 2024. Digital journalist Emma Ansa amplified what had only been whispered about, turning it into a cry for help.
The ages for the vast majority of them are between 15 and 16 years old. This is a problem. What are the police doing? Where are these young boys? Why are they all missing?
The faces of 5 missing boys from the Toronto area were posted on social media. Their disappearances unrelated but similarly suspicious. Boys who walked out of their homes and away from their families.
I've noticed that they didn't put up that picture that they had, because when they put up those 5 pictures just now of these different black boys, at the time when we were covering this, they also had the picture of the youth that stabbed the old woman. So I guess they put him off the list.
Posted on social media. Their disappearances unrelated but similarly suspicious. Boys who walked out of their homes and away from their families.
Viral videos sound the alarm on several missing Black boys across the GTA, acting as a catalyst for change.
Listen, we have an update on the missing Black boys in the Toronto area to tell you about.
A staggering amount of Black boys have gone missing. There's a serious problem happening in Toronto.
Of course, many people still feel very uneasy about why this is happening.
Media producer Shayna McCullough felt the boys hadn't only disappeared, they'd been forgotten.
You know, we're going to talk about systemic failures and holding people accountable, and we're no longer staying silent as a community.
So she created a community on Instagram called Find Ontario's Missing Boys. And she launched an online petition to get more media attention and pressure police to step up their search for the boys.
When I saw the images, I definitely panicked a bit. My heart sank, and I thought, what could be happening? That could be my son. Could be anyone's son. And why is there nobody talking about this?
McCullough was the...
I'm going to show you guys quickly because, you know, this is not, we're not sitting here just watching the video without reacting to it. I'm going to show you exactly what they're talking about. I followed that page not too long ago. Find Ontario's Missing Boys. So this is the page right here. This is the young lady they're talking about.
Part is the families. That's the heartbreak.
This is from October 2025.
And I can't imagine going into a holiday without my son.
Shayna McCullough, the founder of grassroots movement Find Ontario Missing Boys, speaking on behalf of the family of missing 16-year-old Josiah Webb-Long.
All right. And this is the page here. The pin post. Last one is from the pin post is from December 20th. This is the one of the last missing boys, Josiah. We reported on this young man over here. Okay. She's done her rounds over to CBC, the Fifth Estates.
What do you think when you see them start smashing away at the display cases?
It's so disappointing. It really is.
This woman says her 16-year-old son is accused of taking part in multiple smash and grabs.
I just don't think that he sees.
Okay, so let's get back to the video here. My bad. I just wanted to make sure I give you guys all of the context that's needed for anything that they're talking about in this video.
The catalyst for community town halls, drawing attention to parents' fears their boys were being enticed to make money running drugs for street gangs.
We have decided to create an opportunity to bring the community together to address this issue.
This conversation is not just about addressing the present concerns. It is about empowering our community to be proactive, informed, and united in safeguarding our children.
We are moms. We have 6, 7 boys among us, and we need community. Why do they take these Black boys to those places?
We don't know why a young man may disappear.
In 2024, 322 male youth were reported missing to the Toronto police.
Damn!
151 were Black boys. That's nearly half. Though Black people make up less than 10% of Toronto's population. The Toronto Police Service says almost all kids reported missing are eventually found. But over months investigating this story, the Fifth Estate has seen boys continue to disappear, leaving parents desperate for help.
Listen, this is just my knee-jerk reaction. Yes, they're missing because they're not coming home no matter how much their parents plead. They might not even be answering the phone. But if they are actually OT working for gangs, then technically they're not missing. They're influenced. They're badly influenced, obviously. And listen, trigger warning or salute to any of the parents that might be in this chat over here that might be affected by this. But there's a lot of wayward youths out here, and there's a lot of pressures that are around them from social media. And I'm not even going to say, I got to say it, but rap culture or hip hop culture, as far as the bad sides of hip hop culture and all these different things, the peer pressure in school and all that, trying to get girls in the big 2026 or 2025, 2024, when it started happening, will cause people to say, you know what, I'm going to go for illegal means of making money. All right. Obviously, there's the gang influence when they're walking home from school and they're going back to their neighborhoods, and their neighborhoods are full of the man them who are part of gangs and stuff like that. So they can easily be influenced to say, you know what, that's the step I'm going to take. There's a lot of youth that don't. They stick to their books, they stay in school. But there's a percentage of them, even with good parents, that are like, I think I might like this lifestyle better. And then they get wrapped up. I'm not even saying that the people who are the elders who are telling them or taking them OT or, you know, giving them the work or whatever are right, but they're not kidnapped. They're just badly influenced. They have bad role models around them. You feel me? The teaching that you're doing at home is not strong enough for the outside world and the way shit goes down, especially with social media. So it's not your fault, but a lot of the times they're not missing. I know this shit hurts because they're not coming home, but it's not because they can't. It's because they don't want to. They're out there doing whatever they think they want to do. Not what they want to do, whatever they think they want to do.
No child is off limits. It sounds horrible, but it could be anyone.
Please come home. You know my number. You know your dad's number. And I need to talk to you. I need to hear your voice, son. Please.
Put it this way, I'm older than all of the parents that they've shown so far. So if with that being said, we're sure there's a lot of parents that are like 35 years old, raising a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, might have even had them younger, and now they're dealing with the repercussions of like, damn, like this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, or it's just it's as hard as I thought, or harder than I thought it was going to be.
So what's pulling the boys away from school, sports, and their friends? One man desperate for answers is a father we're calling Cameron. His son, who we're calling Alex, first went missing in 2023 at the age of 14.
Damn.
For legal reasons, we're concealing their identities and altering his voice. What happened in this, Jim?
Both my boys played basketball here on Saturdays. I also remember we were racing. I remember we were racing from one end to the next. He has an older sister and an older brother. And we were close knit.
Cameron now remembers red flags when Alex was in grade 8. Kids that weren't students showing up at his son's school.
At times when I would pick up from the school, you would see that there were older kids there, right? That were just hanging around, etc. Right? So that was a concern.
One night that summer, Alex didn't come home. He vanished for 3 days.
We were terrified. We would look, all over to see where he was. Call his phone. There'll be no response with the phone.
Cameron scoured the neighborhood, contacted other parents. He eventually found Alex at an older boy's home.
What we feel happened was that those boys were going to take off.
Cameron brought Alex home, but weeks later he disappeared again, this time for over 2 months. And when you told the police he was missing, how did the police respond?
They did.
Older boy's home, how? Was that an older boy's home? Was it the trap that they're using, or the place that they're using for the trap? A place that maybe that older boy's parents are not around like that. You know what I'm saying? He might have a spot on his own, and he had his young boy in the trap in the city, not the one OT, the one in the city. Because he's like, yo, like, you found him in the older boy's home? I don't know if that was his home, B. Okay, because he didn't try to make it sound like it was some like weird shit going on over there. It was just like, yo, he was over there at the older kid who's over at the school who don't even go to the school. Right? Like, I have empathy, right? Because I feel bad for these parents. Like, they want their kids to come home, but like, damn, bro. With everything I said earlier, those influences, it's not going to be that easy.
Respond. They asked a lot of questions. They asked him where he frequents. They said they would look around those areas.
Police issued a missing persons alert. But when Alex was found in Orillia, an hour north of Toronto, it was in what's called a trap house where illegal drugs are sold. He was with adults. They were all arrested.
We were shocked. angry. How does a 14-year-old boy get to Aurelia? I had no ID, no money. So you would think that, someone had to lure him there or take him there.
Cameron brought him home again, got him back into
They drove down there in a luxury SUV.
School. But while he was on house arrest, he disappeared again.
He was missing for 11 months.
11 months.
Yeah.
In grade 9.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
My family, we're at a dead end, right? We didn't know where to go.
Shayna McCullough met with officers in Durham region, east of Toronto, home to many of the missing boys.
They might have to check Torontology. I'm not trying to play no games or trying to say no funny shit, okay? But you might need to check Torontology, check YouTube, be on the gram heavy, because he might have a whole alias and think he's a guy, okay? The sickest drill rapper in the scene. He goes OT as much as he wants, has this amount on his wrist, this amount on his neck. You never know who this kid thinks he is at this point. You might think that this is your little son who's just a nice kid or whatever. In his mind, he's super gangster. Okay? He was on house arrest and he still left. That man's already in his mind, he's a gangster. No parent is going to stop me from fulfilling my gangster dream.
Her message? The Black community is watching, and these parents need answers.
I just want to know why I'm not seeing our boys being located faster and not spending 10 months in the possession of human traffickers, essentially, or criminal organizations. Like, how does that relate to these boys actually coming home?
All 5 boys were eventually found. As for Cameron's son, he was arrested in Sarnia. More than 3
human trafficking is crazy. I'm trying. They're gonna hate me for this reaction right here. I'm trying to be on y'all parents' side, but human trafficking is pushing the line. Gang, am I tripping, bro? Fam? I understand what HT is, okay? I'm going to stop saying that word before I demonetize the damn video, okay? Especially when it comes to the gal them, okay, they're influencing these young girls and then saying, come over and go sell your bodies. The flip side of that for that girl is nothing, okay? They're not running around telling everybody, I'm a hoe, I sell my body, okay? Yes, there's rare cases, obviously, but it's not cool. It doesn't give them any points, any stripes. But for a young kid, and again, I understand, it is bad. It's horrible. It's deplorable that these older kids or older, because there usually be people in their 20s, to be honest. It's not like 40, 50-year-old mans that are recruiting these youths. All right. If they're recruiting teenagers, then it's probably a man who's like 25. He's like, yo, you're one of my young boys. These niggas rap about their young boys. My young boys will split your wig. My young boys will do this. My young boys will do that. You're trying to tell me that them mans are the HT guys? Let me know. Because this has been going on forever, and it's wrong. I will reiterate, it is bad. But is it HT? Is it human trafficking gang? Let me know. One in the chat. Is it considered human trafficking when they see the man in the hood who's got the nice car already and he's like, yo, fam, how could I get down? This was me. I was a little bit older. I was 17 at this point in CJEPT. All right. Yeah. 16 going on 17 in CJEPT. All right. I know in Montreal we have a different school system. So I graduated, went to CJEPT. I'm over there doing my thing. I see my bosses with the big chains. Okay. They got the shearling jackets and shit like that. This is the early 90s, right? I'm like, they didn't have to come up to me and say, listen, little nigga, we see you stealing everything that's not locked down in the school, right? Selling all of the books and making all of this money. Be part of our team. They didn't do that. I went to them like, How could I be down? Verbatim. How could I get what you got? My words exactly. How could I get what you got? Pointing at the chains and shit. Because in my mind, them niggas was rich. Right? I was influenced. They didn't say shit to me. Some of them I was cool with them. Right? It wasn't like I never ever spoke to any of them in my life. I used to, right? Big salute to my nigga Larry. I don't know if he's even alive anymore. He might be dead because that nigga got shot mad time. This is back in Montreal, early 90s. There's no statute of limitation I found out here, but this is super far back. Man used to be in the back of the class with the shearling jacket, counting racks, looking over at me, doing this. So maybe that was G-rooming. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But I was just like, nigga, my pockets is flat. How could I get a stack like that? So I say that to say, is it HT? Is it really HT when a lot of these youths, they want to go? All right. I feel like I sound super insensitive, but like, it's not the same as with the gal them, bro. Man, them get stripes after they come back from OT and they're like, yo, bro, I just bought a bunch of shit. I'm the man now. Niggas in my hood respect me. Like, that's how they feel after, bro. It's not the same as with the gal them. The gal them are looked down on once they start selling their front.
300 kilometers from his home, Alex was tasered while running out of this house. Police later turned up cash, drugs, and a loaded handgun. You said when you hung up from the phone call with the police, you said you were angry. Who were you angry at?
I was angry at the people that had my son, the people that I considered predators.
We've learned more about where the luring may lead. A YouTube video surfaced last year, glamorizing and normalizing selling drugs in a trap house in Sarnia.
Show the camera the dog shit, man. That's a little song, you know. Yeah.
This may be appealing to some young kids, but for the men in this video, it was anything but. After the video was posted, 4 men were arrested and charged by the Sarnia police.
I hate that thing.
They are children. They are 13, 14, 15, going on 16. They are children. The common thread between these boys is that they were all found in remote towns, such as Thunder Bay, Orillia, Sarnia.
Yo, they're really letting everybody know where the trap spots are right now, eh? Them spots are probably hot as fuck right now after this documentary.
And this doesn't happen overnight, right? They work on these children. They target them. They look for children that they feel are more vulnerable, who are more likely to follow them. And they groom them into the drug trade.
Nothing new that kids get lured into gangs, right?
Camille Dundas is the founder of the online magazine By Blacks. She says suburbs are no longer a safe haven to keep kids away from gang influence.
I think what is new for us is the devil is at our door now, okay?
O'Shea Stewart remembers when the devil was at his door, he was also influenced by gangs. Now he's a specialized school counselor in the GTA, where in 2023, a quarter of suspended students in the public school board were Black youth.
Do you think that Black kids are more vulnerable?
Definitely. I would say anybody in a marginalized community is more vulnerable, right? I've had the chance to work with, kids outside of being Black, and I've seen how they get sucked into the life too as well.
Explain to me what the attraction is like for
bare brown youths, bare friggin' like Arab youths and all that are all in the game too, not just Black youths, okay? There's some other youths that their parents don't think that they're Black. They're all in the game too.
For a young man who sees the money, who sees the influence, who sees the power that you can get if you run with these gangs.
Well, it's hard, right? You want to belong. You want to belong somewhere. You want to be respected. And unfortunately, I mean, if you're not a basketball player, an athlete, or, the cool guy, it's kind of easy to place yourself within these circles.
Stewart says when the gangs take the boys out of town to sell their drugs, it's called going OT.
And what
I literally just said about the whole cool factor.
What was the temptation, especially for 14, 15-year-old boys to go OT, to go to another town and start selling drugs for somebody.
The more money you make defines how much of, I guess, a man you are, apparently.
You're a
like,
guy.
money is always the cool thing.
So masculinity ends up being a bit of a driving force in all this.
For sure. You see it in social media, right? If you're not making this amount of money, then you're a nobody. So money almost builds confidence.
The Fifth Estate spoke with several families of boys.
Wow, they did YG dirty. They did 35 dirty.
Make defines how much of, I guess, a man you are, apparently. Like, money is always the cool thing.
So masculinity ends up being a bit of a driving force in all this.
For sure. You see it in social media, right? If you're not making...
And Tizzy Stacks. I don't know who this over here. His face is covered, but they did YG dirty. Big Boss El Nito YG runs the Jane. Like 35 pops off a honey bun on Pedro's head. This is when he was like, yo, you need to show me 10 racks. Oh my
this amount of money, then you're a nobody. So money almost builds confidence.
Oh,
the Fifth
God.
Estate spoke with several families of boys that have gone OT to learn how the recruiting process works. We've learned that some boys are told about an opportunity from a friend or are approached directly by an older male. Some boys were told they can make big money, $10,000 to $30,000 within a couple of weeks. One source told us boys are instructed to pack plastic bags for drugs, rubber bands for cash. They're sent to a meeting spot, then transported to a trap house.
And once they're recruited, I mean, is it your feeling that it's almost going to be a pretty much direct pipeline to prison?
Usually, yeah, to prison or to death, right? There's no other positive options, right?
Coming up, we follow one father's desperate search to find his son traveling.
Okay, so I'm going to go a bit forward and get to the Bizz Loc parts.
Streets.
The next morning, Marcus and his wife drove 16 hours, the same 1,400-kilometer route. They believe their son,
because this is a lot of repeat of things that are happening, like, oh, my son is in Aurelia, my son is
20-year-old Toronto man, is firing his pistol.
Oh my God.
That's when he came looking for his son.
I think it was 2022 when we first started seeing the missing youth coming from the Toronto area.
When a family contacts you, say, look, we're coming to town. We believe our son is in your community. We need your help.
Yep.
What do you do?
If a family has traveled 16 hours to come up here, we're going to help them. I would do the same thing in a heartbeat.
Saunders says when missing posters go up and parents and police start knocking on doors, kids often surface.
When you put the heat on these different areas, the drug dealers, they don't want that.
The key then is if you create enough heat around this kid, that it's a strong likelihood that they may say, you're becoming more trouble than anything.
Absolutely. But I don't think they really know what they're getting into when they come up here. Yeah.
What they're getting into is a dangerous game. Take a look. This is security footage of a shootout in a Thunder Bay parking lot back in 2023. A 20-year-old Toronto man is firing his pistol at two boys and a woman. The boys from Toronto, just 15 and 16 years old.
I think they're using these kids because of their age, basically. They're underage.
This is why these guys never hit nothing, hit bare innocent people. Like, one, they got these little kids out here running around doing the shooting, and this is not new. This has been happening forever, okay? And in the way that they're shooting, they look so scared while they're doing it. They're like, they're doing this. They're closing their eyes. They're friggin' duck. They're like, no real like motion, no form. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna hit nothing if you're doing. They're holding it sideways. They're going over thing. Like, nah, bro. This is like amateur hour, fam. It just looks sloppy.
Age, and they know that if they get caught with the drugs, it's not going to be as steep as if it's an adult, right?
Do you think it's possible that there's a kid from the GTA in this building?
Absolutely. This particular building, there's been a couple of youth from the GTA found, or at least seen on the video surveillance cameras here.
At some point.
The boys are kept out of sight, behind closed doors. Often the only people who see them are the ones buying drugs.
Have you ever bought drugs from these teenagers here?
I don't know their ages, but yes, I've bought.
Wow. See, listen, for the man them who watch this, who are actually in the trap, because I know a percentage of the audience are actually out there doing things, bro. This is what your fiends are doing. You might already know this. You can't trust the fiends, but this is what the fiends are doing. They're like, yeah, I don't know how old he is, but yeah, I bought some drugs for him. Like, oh, nigga. Oh, bro. The man probably just left the trap, too.
Kept out of sight, behind closed doors. Often the only people who see them are the ones buying drugs.
Have you ever bought drugs from these teenagers here?
I don't know their ages, but yes, I've bought. I'm not going to admit the truth. I'm not going to lie.
Some of them are barely teenagers.
Barely teenagers. What have you seen?
You don't believe me if I told you, but...
No, well, try me. What do you think when you see these teenagers from the Toronto area?
I try to help them. I try to tell them, look, kid, you know what do you think's going to happen by the time you're 20? You're going to be dead and jail for the rest of your life, or just so you can't survive somebody. No, I'm talking. No, you're not. You know what these kids do? They don't even make money. They go to a bank every hour, send some guys somewhere, but they never catch money every hour. $1,000. These kids aren't even eating. They're starving. They're making $50,000 a week at open. They can't eat because it all goes back to the boss because they're terrified of it.
During our investigation,
he gave them a lot, bro. I wonder if that's true. If that's true, that's actually super whack. But like this guy is like, let me tell you. Right? Because he's like, these guys, they're not even eating. Bro, what do you care? You're literally going there with whatever money that you were able to panhandle to go get your drugs. And now you're on a moral high ground. I don't know. Like, obviously, there is some truth to what he's saying, but I would put a lot of this with a grain of, I would, hold a lot of this with a grain of salt right here. Because, like, bruh, the man literally looks like he's high right now. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm saying it's not the best, most trustworthy source right there.
Money every hour, $1,000. These kids aren't even eating. They're starving.
Then turn them into trap houses where the boys work. She sees boys from the GTA being hidden in the apartments she manages. If a resident has a drug debt, she says the gangs take over their homes, then turn them into trap houses where the boys work.
As soon as those kids are gone, more will come in. That's the way this whole thing works. It's, and there's real hierarchy in it. I don't know how we stop it. We know that they're not from here. The little ones or the younger ones are pretty quiet most of the time. They're just trying to, I think, stay under the radar.
Let me clean this up right over here because I don't want people to feel that way. Okay. Holy, I'm not going to read the rest of your name, or Holly says, Friday, are you seriously clowning minors for their shitty shooting form? It's not that I'm clowning the minors, even though it might seem like I'm clowning them. I'm clowning the man them who chose to use these guys as the people who are going to go carry out the hit. Okay? And this is not a one-time thing. They always do this. The man them don't want to go do it themselves. So they go pick these young boys, obviously, because they are not going to be charged as adults if they get caught. Okay? We know all of this. But you're also choosing people who are not going to get the job done properly. They're going to end up hitting a bunch of people. They don't know how to shoot. You're not even training the man them to freaking shoot properly. So, like, it's an indictment on the higher ups to them mans. Okay? They're just kids. They don't know how to shoot, obviously, because they're kids. But their bosses should know that. Instead of being freaking vipers that are just using whatever easily influenced kids to do their dirty work. Do it yourself, you little goofs. Okay? Big old goofs, because they're probably in their 20s. Do it yourself. Instead of, oh, my young boy's this, my young boy's that. Your young boy don't know how to shoot. He don't even know how to piss in the toilet straight yet. Farthest more than shoot a fucking gun straight.
As we investigate this story, the term trap house has come up time and time again, and that's a property that's used by the teens to sell drugs. Now, we've heard about them, but we've never seen one. We've been given access to this property. It used to be a family dwelling taken over by drug gangs. So for the glamorous life promised to the teens, this is where they end up. Days prior, this was a den for dealers. This sign, T-Bay.
I don't think that the teens, and this is just me assuming as somebody who spent time on roads, are like, oh, they promised me some glamorous life, and then I'm going to be walking into a mansion and moving drugs. Like, when I first started doing my thing back when I was like 17, I was very naive myself. I'm going to use myself as the example. I thought I was going to be selling weed. Okay. I found out that I was going to be selling crack when I got to my first shift. Didn't stop me from staying. I didn't say, oh, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. No, I was like, all right, that's what it is. It is what it is. Okay. But the place that I went to, an apartment in NDG, okay, this is way back in the days now, Saint Jacques and Girouard. All right. For the people in Montreal, if you know, you know. Saint Jacques and Girouard over there in NDG, that area, a lot of crackheads used to be around there in the 90s. And when I went in the spot, I wasn't like, oh my God, what's up with this place? Somebody should clean up around here. Where's the elevator? No, I knew I was in a trap house. I knew that I was going to be in a place that's just going to have some kind of game system for us to play. I was about to say PlayStation, but it was like Nintendo 64, Nintendo, whatever the Nintendo was back in like 92, 93. Okay. I didn't think it was going to be a luxurious thing. I was just thinking about the money that I was going to be making so that I can go later and go floss and be like, I'm a guy. Okay. So I don't think that it was like they get down to the trap spot and they're like, this is it? Nah, bro. They know, fam. They've already spoken to other men who've been out OT, fam. Like, you guys act like these kids are this stupid. I know they're naive, but they're not stupid.
A Hustler 807, graffiti glorifying this town's area code. Drug paraphernalia scattered on tables. Soiled mattresses pushed up against walls. Remnants of a family's shattered life are everywhere. We're told a family of 4 once lived here, but the parents got hooked on fentanyl, and eventually their 2 children, both under 12, were taken away.
Holy moly.
Thunder Bay has the highest per capita rate of opioid overdose deaths in Ontario.
Jeez.
It's now 7 times the provincial average. In 2024, 80 people died. And that's why.
There's another thing that needs to be addressed here too. Why is this like this? Okay, why is this place become the hot spot for the man them to come from OT from Toronto and go OT to over there and go get their money? Okay, there's a drug problem that needs to be addressed in these areas, and a homelessness problem that needs to be fixed. Besides the man them who are going over there and making their money. Okay, yes, that's part of the problem, but they're going there because the customers are there. Maybe make less customers over there. Make it a place where it's not producing a shitload of freaking drug addicts, to make it such an appetizing place for the man them to go make their bread.
Why it's such a target for Toronto drug gangs.
Hamilton.
A toxic mix of money, drugs, and death.
Brooklyn. Is that you?
Aurelia.
What's up, bud?
As we were chatting with Livingston, an emergency unfolds before our eyes. Someone is overdosed in the building next door. So Livingston grabs Narcan inhalers, which can reverse the effects of an overdose. And then we run.
Okay, we can't show this.
About how...
Okay, I'm going to forward and find the Bizz Loc parts over here.
The stakes of that search, now 3 years on. Knowledge drugs are being trafficked north from the GTA. The OPP said youth from marginalized communities are at a heightened risk of being targeted and recruited by criminal networks.
Okay, we've covered all that. Let's get to Right here.
Peddle their drugs. O'Shea Stewart's 15-year-old student is now in a youth detention center in Ontario awaiting a hearing. The 18-year-old he was with is facing the possibility of 10 to 25 years in prison.
Damn.
I kind of seen it going that way. I didn't want it to go that way, but just based off of, some of the things that, he was getting into, I kind of knew, okay, like this is where we're gonna go, right? It seems to be just a regular occurrence.
When we come back, rapper Bizz Loc about lessons learned after a life of crime that began when he was a teen. Do you have regrets about the decisions you made?
1,000%. 1,000%. I have bare dead homies tatted all over my skin. They have nothing to show for the life that they lived. Is this something that the kids then wanted to chase after?
This is Ontario's largest youth jail, the Roy McMurtry Centre in Brampton, known simply as the Roy. Boys between the ages of 12 to 17 are detained here. Management says that includes a significant number of gang-affiliated youth. A report by the Federal Justice Department says that gang label often leads to poorer treatment and poorer outcomes for kids in custody.
The YO.
What started you down the path to even enter the
Jordana Goldlist has 15 years experience as a criminal defense lawyer, but she began her journey in the justice system as a homeless drug addict behind bars.
I was 16 years old with no one to bail me out.
Salute to Jordana.
And so I ended up at the Vanier Correction Center, where I spent 4 days in solitary confinement.
What's the bulk of your
Thank you for the
clientele
membership,
now?
Paulies. Violence, drug trafficking, and firearms offenses is really the trilogy that I'm focused on.
And why?
It's the world I was in for so long. It's the world that I understand. And if I can help give someone else a second chance,
then memberships.
They can do something better with themselves, the way that I've proven able to do with my own life.
Goldlist often gets the call when boys are arrested. She says some get her number from the gangs who recruited them.
I mean, this morning alone, I got calls from Thunder Bay, North Bay, and Sarnia. And it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Goldlist says when the boys first appear in court, a harsh reality sets in.
We hear some of the most disgusting things in bail hearings. I've had a justice of the peace say, "We're tired of you people coming to our city to sell drugs."
Wow, you people is crazy.
What impact does that have for these kids?
Well, they hear that and it's horrific. It's obviously racist. It's horrific. And they think this is how I'm going to be treated by the justice system, because now they're looked at as expendable in the justice system as they are in the drug network.
One high-profile bust showed how the boys are routinely exploited. In 2020, Toronto police made more than 100 arrests, cracking down on a Toronto street gang called the Eglinton West Crips.
These networks are alleged to have trafficked large quantities of narcotics, specifically cocaine and fentanyl, to many communities outside the Greater Toronto Area, as far away as Thunder Bay.
One of the high-ranking members of the gang, Vito Bailey Ricketts, was sentenced to 13 years in custody. In her sentencing, the judge noted Ricketts had access to a steady supply of loyal youths he could use as mules to bring his drugs north. She also cited youth were recruited to set up and operate his trap houses.
Back on the roads, free the dogs. I was locked in my cell, reading.
Let's go, Bizz Loc.
Also arrested in that sweep, Brian Harrington, known as Bizz Loc, seen here in a profile by Toronto rappers. He was sentenced to 10 years on drug and weapons charges. He posted this music video from jail.
Said I just wanna touch the road again. I'm by myself, I'm all alone again.
He's serving his sentence at the Atlantic Institution in Renouse, New Brunswick. He agreed to speak to the Fifth Estate about his own
This nigga's in New Brunswick?
path to prison. I was reading an interview with you where you referred to yourself at one point as a good kid that turned evil. Tell us when things took a turn for you.
I never really followed nobody into the life. It was more so something that I just kind of grew up in. I was in something before I even realized it. Subconsciously, I probably wanted to be a part of it, just trying to belong. Nobody's really comfortable being broke, you know, and that's probably what kind of led me to criminal activity.
Oh my God. I literally said this in the beginning of the segment. Enough of these guys are just like, bro, I ain't trying to be broke like this, fam. Like, I'm trying to get my shit up, fam. Pause. Like, let's go. You got, you notice, you got a plug. Let's go.
What age were you at that point?
I was probably like 12, 13, 14.
So what do you say about that now? The fact that you're running with a gang that was using these young kids to help move drugs?
I honestly, that is, Ricketts is my call cues, and I don't feel comfortable even responding to that.
Don't you think, and you've posted videos from your jail cell, don't you think you have also contributed to that glamorizing of the gangster life?
1,000%.
Oh, they're holding his feet to the fire.
1,000%. And this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, to let them know that there is another way.
What do you say to those boys who think that they have to earn their stripes by doing this, by spending time?
They clipped him crazy. He said more there, and they clipped that to another question immediately.
I'm in youth detention.
1,000%. 1,000%. And this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, to let them know that there is another way.
What do you say to those boys who think that they have to earn their stripes by doing this, by spending time in youth detention?
I think that's bullshit. You don't go to jail to prove yourself. No, I know that this is a path of destruction, and it seldom ends well.
Do you have regrets about the decisions you made?
1,000%. 1,000%. I have bare dead homies tatted all over my skin. They have nothing to show for the life that they lived. They have nothing to show for this gang shit that we all represented. You know, their moms couldn't even afford their funerals. Is this something that the kids then wanted to chase after? This is nothing to be proud of. I'm proud that I'm still alive. I'm not proud that I'm involved in this life.
Harrington's story.
That's a moment of clarity right there. That's some self-awareness I'm hearing right there. I fuck with it.
Highlights the socioeconomic challenges for boys looking for opportunities when options are limited. Challenges that are still present today. This is a job line for a fast food restaurant in Oshawa, posted on Reddit in 2024.
Wow, that's how you feel, fam? You said, I don't want to hear this bullshit. You feel that the manager don't have no remorse? Because you know when you're sitting there doing that time, bro, and you're like, shit. I think Bizz Loc got sentenced to 10, or it could have been 7 years. He's probably like, shit, man. I spent more time in jail than on road. Take that into perspective. Because Bizz Loc, his interview that he did with the network back in the days, all right, and we'll get back to this interview this in a second. His interview that he did with the network back in the days was something that helped to start his buzz around that time. He had a buzz going on. I'm not going to say that we put on Bizz Loc, we gave him the buzz. Like, no. He had a buzz going on at that time. His music videos that he had dropped at the time are already doing amazing. But I seen this interview helped to catapult shit. I say that to say, at the time, this was only about 4 or 5 months after he came home from a 6-year bid, or whatever part of that he served of a 6-year bid. So at that point in time, he probably, and when he got locked up, I think the news report said he was 34, and he got locked up back in 2020. Okay. This interview went down in 2017. Okay. End of 2017, November of 2017. Okay. I know it has a different date on it. It says July of 2018. This is because this is my second channel. And in July of 2018, the channel went down. I had to re-upload this interview ASAP. Okay. But I actually did it back in November of 2017, not July of 2018. So he was only home for a few months after spending almost 6 years in prison. Okay. That's adult time. So 2020, 34 years old. Let's backtrack a little bit. 31. So he spent the latter part of his 20s behind bars. He's also a product of going to YO, the youth offenders jails. So he's probably gone to YO a bunch of times, and he's been locked up before the 6-year bid, because the more you get locked up, the longer they keep you every time. So he's probably spent more time in jail than on roads.
How these other niggas act, and it's different from how we act in our time. So that's why I say, do not trust these niggas in this new. Yeah, my G.
I can relate to that 100.
I came from it, G. I seen it. I seen it. I seen it active.
The older man from my era and the G's from my era, I've never popped Molly. You understand what I'm saying? I've never tried it. I've never experienced it, so I don't know what it's like.
Why not?
Because I'm just from that era. I smoke weed. I'm an herbalist.
I come from that era too. You know what? I had to keep up with the time, my G.
That's not me.
This is the time.
That's not.
You know what? I'm gonna try it one time. Since everybody's doing it, I'm gonna do it.
I tried E1.
Let me try it. I was in the pen.
Actually, I tried. I'm bad podcasting with my interrupting ass. Bad podcasting Friday. But remember, back in 2017. That was 2017. But let's get back to the video.
Not proud that I'm involved in this life.
Harrington's story highlights the socioeconomic challenges for boys looking for opportunities when options are limited, challenges that are still present today. This is a job line for a fast food restaurant in Oshawa, posted on Reddit in 2024. Hundreds of young people looking for work. The national unemployment rate for Black boys is 26%, more than twice that of non-racialized boys.
If you've got a 15 or 16-year-old guy that can't even get a job at a Tim Hortons, can't get a job, anywhere, and he's being offered $500 a day, that seems like a lot of money for him.
Just how...
Oh, part of my brain is like, immigration much? Because that helps a little bit, a lot of it. Like, that lineup of people that are trying to get the job, they're trying to get jobs at a place where the owner of the building or the owner of the establishment gets an incentive from hiring people that come as a product of immigration, so that they get an incentive to hire those people instead of the people from over here. So of course it's going to be harder to get a job. If I'm the owner of the place and I'm getting extra money because I hired Ranjit and Sarah Pritt, then it is what it is. I'm not dissing. It is what it is. Their hustle is their hustle. But that's part of the reason why, it makes it harder for young Black boys and people of other races. But, we're talking about Black boys to go get a job. And then, yes, they're going to end up in the trap. So there's a lot of different things to be fixed to even quell the influences that are around them. Okay, let's make our list again. One, why is Sarnia and Thunder Bay and all of these different places so fucked up with drugs that they seem like a gold mine to any of the man there? Fix that. That needs to be fixed. Those places shouldn't be some freaking hot spots, gold mines for the man them to go down there and make money, because you guys can't keep your freaking town in check. Because your government, your mayor or whatever out there is trash and doesn't know what to do about their homelessness and drug problem, which has continuously been getting worse. This shit that we're talking about here, this is not new shit. Thunder Bay and all of these places, Sarnia, that shit has been popping since I've been on the roads. And before I've been on roads, those places have been popping. So why are we acting like, oh my God, these places, like the problems out there and they're just taking our use? Like, nah, bro, they've been doing this for decades, fam. This is old shit. You niggas ain't trying to fix it. So that's one. Okay? I don't even forgot what it was two because I got so pissed off.
For opportunities.
Oh, two. My bad. The immigration problem that you guys tried to use as a bandage to fix the pandemic when you said, you know what, nobody's going outside, nobody's taking these jobs, let's just let an influx of people come in, with 70% of them coming from one country, let's let everybody into the friggin' doors. Oh, because we need more workers. No, you need to fuck the system over a little bit more. So now you do the LMA and all that shit, build a bunch of fake schools, bring in a bunch of extra gangsters, because a lot of them motherfuckers is gangsters too. All right. And now these kids are lining up in front of a goddamn McDonald's because they can't get a job because Raj and everybody done took the jobs, fam. So that's two things y'all need to fix before saying, oh, well, you know, these kids are so heavily influenced. You know, why don't you fix the things that are influencing them? I could go to number 3 with the whole social media and then the way that the algorithm pumps bullshit to their brain instead of pumping good shit like they how they have in China and all that, but I might be getting too deep at that point. All right, so we'll leave it at 2.
When options are limited, challenges that are still present today. This is a job line for a fast food restaurant in Oshawa, posted on Reddit in 2024. Hundreds of young people looking for work. The national unemployment rate for black boys is 26%, more than twice that of non-racialized boys.
If you've got a 15 or 16-year-old guy that can't even get a job at a Tim Hortons, can't get a job, you know, anywhere, and he's being offered $500 a day, that seems like a lot of money for him.
Just how lucrative is this business in Ontario?
I had a client once who told me that he had traps throughout Sarnia and Windsor and London that were each turning a profit of $80,000 a day.
Jeez.
Wow.
But the father we're calling Marcus, who rescued his son from a trap house in Thunder Bay, says the boys are victims, exploited by knowing adults.
Don't use my kid to do your dirty work, right? Do it yourself. You're an adult. If they see this, I have a message for them. You guys are cowards. Using people's children to do your own dirty work. You want to sell drugs, you want to do this, you're a man. You know the consequences, you know the laws, you know what it is. Do it yourself.
As for Shayna McCullough, who's been advocating to find Ontario's missing boys, her message is for police.
I'm sorry, easier said than done. You're saying that they're men? I think we've established, and maybe there are older mans. Yes, as you go up the ladder, obviously you get older mans. Them older mans that are now the brick guys or the plugs or whatever, they started where your kid started, okay? They started as a lookout. They started as somebody who worked in the trap that was quote-unquote HT'd or friggin' influenced by one of the man them, and they started off in the trap. And then they made their way up the ranks. They caught whatever bodies, or they're more efficient with their way that they moved their work or whatever, and moved up the ranks and lived longer than the rest of their crew that started at the time that they started until they became the man. Okay. And that might be at the time, by the time they're 25 years old. Okay. And I'm not trying to diss you, parent, because you might watch the show and be somebody who loves the show. And I fuck with you. And I want your kid to be a good kid. I don't want him to be quote unquote missing. But these guys who are influencing your kid, they were once your kid. Okay? They're not some kind of evil organization that friggin' just gets the older mans to go get the younger mans. No, these guys who are the older mans, to me, they're fucking kids. To you, they're kids. Maybe you're a little bit younger than me, but to me, they're little youths, fam. They're 23 years old, 24 years old. You're a youth to me. You know what I'm saying? But they're the Don Dada. I ain't going to tell them that to their face because they'll shoot my head off. But they're youths, fam. They're just higher up the ladder. Thank you, BM Mizzy. All right, Friday's a good example. He started in the streets. Now he's a podcaster who pays taxes and lives proper. Yes. And I take a pay cut for it. I ain't even gonna lie. I used to make way more money when I was on roads, not putting money into a business. Okay. The only money I would put in is in the re-up. But I feel more fulfilled. Trust me. And 23 years still really young. But they're older mans to the 13, 14-year-old. They're a big man to the 13, 14-year-old. Okay, mans that are like turning 30, those are the men that they're talking about. Grown men. Yes, they're grown, but they're still young compared to like certain mans, bro. They're not OGs yet, bro. Okay? They're young boys to somebody else, and those young boys recruit the other young boys. Think about that.
I think that anybody who's caught in a room with drugs and weapons with a 15, 14-year-old boy should be charged with human trafficking, and there should be some type of programs in place that treat these boys like victims and not as criminals.
We contacted the Toronto Police
I'm sorry. You know who that organization is? And y'all are going to get mad, the parents. You know who that organization that, you know, we need an organization that can help these black boys. It's, yes, the government, I said the government needs to do a bunch of shit, but it's also called parents. It's parenting, okay? I know she's doing her best, and the other people who have missing kids, they're doing their best, but there's a lot of people that me at my big 50-year-old age, I know way more about social media than like people that are younger than me. And that's not cool. People that are in their 40s, in their late 30s, and I'm telling them how to freaking use the different platforms that they're on. Okay? You always have to keep up with the times. You got to stay 10 steps ahead of these little niggas. If that means you have to have 2 Finstas, 2 fake Snapchats, 2 fake TikTok pages, you got to have them. Because these kids, like I said earlier, you might think they're missing, and then you go up on YouTube and their music video has 50,000 views of them in the actual trap that you're looking for them in. Think about this, because it happens. I'm not making this shit up. This is happening right now. You're looking for the youth, you go on Reddit, and on Reddit, he's a guy. So you got to be 10 steps ahead of these little niggas, bro. See the influence coming from a mile away, like, bro, last time I went in my Finsta, I seen that you were like, you know, mans have certain people that are following them that are like bad news. And then talk to them. Right? Yo, if you have to go through mad Finstas, it is what it is. You got to tell your kid, you know what? I was on your Instagram and I seen that some of the people that you follow and that follow you back are into some real wild shit. Why are you following them? Why is he following you? Okay? I didn't have these conversations back when I was young because social media didn't exist. These are the kind of conversations you got to have now. Okay? Why am I seeing in your Finsta, the one that you thought that you can get away with using instead of the one that I check up on you on your Finsta, you're posting a gun. Okay? Because besides the Instagram page or the Snapchat or whatever that your kid has, he also has a burner page. So you got to find out what your kid's burner page is, or if he has one in the first place. Red flag number 1, your kid has a burner page with no Avi. Why? Now let's have the conversation. We have to have different conversations with these youths than what we used to have back in the days or what our parents had with us, because the game has advanced. If you got to use AI to catch your kid, use it. Easy effective. If your kid calls you a goof, he's watching too much Smoke Dog. Not just that. If your kid calls you a goof, he knows jail slang. He's been around mans who've done time. Sit down and talk to him. You have to have constant communications with the youth them, because these days and times are crucial, fam. Like I said earlier in this segment, there's 100 different directions that they can get pulled in. All right? You're the home base. Even coming from a place where you have good parents, they can still slip because the influences are out there. You got to catch them before. Young too. Put them in bear programs. Put them in whatever you need to put them in so that their mind is not distracted. Because the second their mind is distracted, that's when them gang members going to get them. Trust me, been there. done that.
Service to ask why adults aren't being charged with human trafficking when they're arrested with minors. They said to lay a human trafficking charge, police must have evidence that an adult exercised control, direction, or influence over the youth for the purpose of exploitation. And that means the boys would have to testify in court against the gang leaders.
Nah.
Goldlist suggests government should redirect the money spent to incarcerate kids and invest in them instead.
And you provided proper education, employment training, addressed intergenerational trauma. If you put basketball courts back into community housing, if you restarted breakfast programs so the kids weren't going to school hungry, if you set a kid up before the age of 12, would you eradicate it completely? I don't think so, but I think you would see a significant dent.
O'Shea Stewart agrees the boy.
Let that one sit for a second. Jordana came through and opened up the jewelry store on them right there. Okay? With the freaking $100,000 plus watch on her wrist. She's doing a goddamn thing. Big salute to Jordana. Okay? Invest in the youth. All right. M Pro Graphics says facts. My little cuz went missing for a week, then found out he was OT putting in work. Police pics and everything. He acting like nothing happened. It's crazy. Not only is he acting like nothing happened, in his mind, he's a guy. I'm a geyser. I made it. I went OT, made 30 racks, came back, spent like some on a Montclair, bought a Louis belt. You know what I'm saying? We out here, bro. Like, yo, I got some Cartier glasses. Yo, I got them for the cheap us too. Man, got them 1,500. You know, they're usually 3,500. They got them for 1,500, fam. The realize. Niggas want to be like that, bro. I'm not saying it's right, but this is what's happening.
Boys need more resources and better options. So he's teamed up with childhood friends, artist and stylist Charlie Prince, and musician and producer Rich Kid to found the Our Way Group. They help the community get funding to build this basketball court.
Even though we have this basketball court here, there still needs to just be more for the youth. Like, they're still missing out.
They're all focused on the money, but they're forgetting the things that come along with that, the personal connections, the brotherhood, the respect, just the moral compass.
All three of these men went OT. 2 of them were in detention before they turned things around. Today, they're running businesses and want to be the positive role models they feel these boys need.
We seen a fork in the road, and then we made the right decision.
I think we were smart enough to learn from the mistakes of the people that we've seen in those predicaments. And I think that was like a key to some of our success.
We can't just grow up, have pride in this neighborhood, scream it out, and not like come back and do something that's gonna actually like positively impact people that were coming in the same kind of lineage as us.
Some kids in here, they might want to be, who knows, lawyers and stuff. They might want to go into like more intense studies. Yo, there's somebody going through this right now.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's what gets me hot.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is still happening. The doings of what you do today is almost undoing the trauma of the past, you know?
We've been in their place, but we're here to live. So how many of, you know, their OGs can say that?
Yo, low-key Toronto's a beautiful city, man. Yeah, there you have it. I think the special was pretty good. I think they covered a lot of ground, but you know, the rebuttals that I was saying before, a lot of that stuff needs to be addressed as well. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of the blame has been put on not only the parents, but like the kids themselves and like the people who are actually influencing them. Like, we need to get these criminals off the street. But if we fix the problem, then we won't have a cycle and a pipeline that starts from these guys being young, becoming bosses, and then passing on the same trauma to others, and then all of them ending up in jail or dead anyway. Okay? Also, I want to give a big salute to Bizz Loc for being candid as he can, because you could hear in the background like he's on the jail phone. Mans are in the back. He can't be talking super crazy to the white man from CBC on the phone, so he did his best in there. Salute to him. And look out for the piece that I will be appearing on soon. Well, I'll share it and I'll bring it up on the screen and stuff. Big salute to Althea. She's saying, could have gone deeper, but I like this. Yeah, they could have gone way deeper. There's a lot of shit that needs to be addressed before we get to, oh, these kids are being human trafficked. You know what I'm saying? But salute same way. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.